Alright, you already know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another random recap. So with the NFL season being over and the Super Bowl is in less than 2 weeks with the Patriots against the Seahawks, I wanted to do something fun while I am working on other videos on the side like the wide receiver draft classes and other stuff focusing on the 2026 draft. Since that's taking me some time, I wanted to get something out just for y'all to enjoy while y'all are waiting for the more bigger videos to come out. So I figured it'd be fun to go back over the off-season hot takes one more time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I've already done 2 videos on it. In the offseason, I had a community post where I asked you to give me some of your best NFL offseason hot takes. I reacted to it, I graded it. Then when mid-season came around, I reacted to it again and I re-graded it. Now that the season is over, I can give it one last final grade. So in this video, we have 4 different grades. Well, technically 2, because there's really only 2 grades I'm going to use in this video. Either you get ice cold because it happened, or you get hot as hell because it didn't. With the chance of pretty green for, I could definitely see it and I can debate it like something like, I don't know, saying this guy's a really good quarterback, but he didn't finish in like rookie of the year. Or mildly hot where it's like hot as hell, but you can still debate it, but it is kind of a spicy take. Alright, now that is explained, all I do is once again, this video is meant for fun. Do not take me serious. This is all strictly my opinion. I'm not gonna get everyone right. Hell, I probably graded a lot of shit wrong, but all that matters is I'm doing this for the fun of the video. I just want to get a fun idea out. So yeah, and all I do ask is if you are new here, please subscribe. It does help the channel grow and does get my name out there more. Anyways, with all that being said, let's get into grading your off-season hot takes 1 full season later. The first hot take we had in the offseason was from Nobunaga 4, Tyler Shough, best rookie quarterback in this year's draft. Alright, so in the offseason, this looked pretty crazy. Week 8, when I did my mid-season grades, this looked crazy. Now that the season's officially over, I'm the one that looks crazy. I dogged on this pick. I really did. I dogged on this hot take, saying not a chance in hell. Waste of a pick, and Saints will probably go quarterback in this upcoming draft class. Instead, what happened was Shough would proceed to just pop the fuck off for some good reason. At the time I recorded this around week 7, week 8, he wasn't even a starter. It was fucking Rattler. Guess they got tired of his bullshit and handed the keys to Shough and said, how worse can it really get? From that point, he'd go on to throw for nearly 2,400 passing yards with a 10-6 touchdown interception ratio, averaging about 250 yards a game with 186 rushing and 3 rushing touchdowns, putting the Saints on a 4-game win streak just to ultimately tell the Buccaneers to go fuck themselves with a loss to the Falcons. His performances over the final couple weeks was so good, it actually launched his name up there in Rookie of the Year talks despite not even playing a full season. See, that right there takes talent. And I'm not afraid to admit it. I was wrong. Saints fans, you got a good one. I mean, you really do have a lot to look forward to. You actually have a quarterback who's worth a damn again. So now we just gotta see how they build around him. But regardless, the most important position you can definitely say is covered. I won't say franchise yet, but I will say he's just about the best you can get for the next couple of seasons. He gives you a great chance of winning, showcases he's got that dog in him. I mean, you really cannot go any better. Now, back to the hot take now that I got the glaze out the way. Best rookie quarterback in this year's draft. Dear God, I can't believe this is actually somehow reality. But it is, and it's a discussion lots of people have been saying, with some even saying he'd be a first-round selection, no doubt, in last year's draft. I mean, a full season looking the way he did, I'm convinced that might have actually been the case. He finished with more passing yards than Dart, with less games, and less interceptions than Ward, with the higher completion percentage than the two. I think a full year, he would have gave this hot take a damn run for its money, but in the nicest way possible. No. For me, the best rookie quarterback comes down between Ward and Dart, which even then I can't make up my damn mind on who's better, taking into account their situations with also 2 different play styles. My choice though, if I had to pick one, would have to be Jackson Dart. So I'm gonna regrade this one from hot as hell to pretty green. And once again, for the Shough fans I might have disappointing during the last year, throughout the offseason and the mid-season checkup, I apologize. Mr. Shough, I was just unfamiliar with your game. Pretty green take to end the season. The second hot take I had in the offseason that I did go over was my purple Kool-Aid. Jets go 10-7, make the playoffs, and upset a team like Baltimore or Buffalo in the wild card while beating the Chiefs in the second round, but lose to Baltimore or Buffalo in the AFC Championship game. Alright, let me dissect this one really quick. 1. My Chiefs did not make it in the playoffs. 2. Neither did Baltimore. 3. Buffalo didn't make it to the AFC Championship. See, now that we've taken out the hypotheticals, let's get to the real one right here. Jets going 10-7 and making the playoffs. This sorry-ass team somehow finished with 3 wins. You'd think for an NFL team that should not be that much of an accomplishment. But for this fugly-ass team, 3 wins might as well be a Super Bowl. This team was fucking horrendous, top to bottom. I mean, I'd rather watch UMass who went 0-12 over this garbage. I don't know how they did it, but somehow, we watched an NFL team go from bad to the worst product on field since God knows when, on a week-to-week basis. It just got worse as it went on and on and on. And can I just say, free my man Garrett Wilson? Please, somebody trade for him. Buffalo, I'm looking at you. Please, make the move. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, y'all suck dick. Like, you know you are a different type of shit when you set a record that shouldn't even exist without how sad it actually is. By becoming the first team to finish a full season without a single defensive interception. How? I could have picked off a damn ball if I really tried, and you're telling me professionals who get paid this much can't do something as simple as that. Just execute this whole team already. Like, what is the point? And now they don't even have a quarterback going into next year because Dante Moore saw this team and said, fuck all this, I'm going back to Oregon. If I dare have to watch another Brady Cook performance, I'm actually going to lose my mind. That guy, by all means, should not be anywhere near the NFL. I would have removed his access to the team facility after the season ended. Send his ass off to the XFL. That might even be too good for him, actually. But anyways, let's get back to the hot take. Jets go 10-7. Yeah, maybe in Madden. And I can even say maybe because I don't even believe they go 10-7 in Madden. Fuck me, and then upset a team like Baltimore or Buffalo. I mean, I'm going to stop you right there. Not even in the dreams of Jets fans would they beat the Bills, who delivered that belt to ass not once, but twice in the same year. Worst part is the second ass whooping was done by Mitch Trubisky. Josh Allen took the night off. I'm just saying, you really couldn't have been any more wrong with this take, and I hope you're not actually a Jets fan, because if you are, then I do apologize. Please, find a new team. Jets fans are the one people I would never get upset at for bandwagon, and it's very understandable. I mean, I'm going to give this grade still hot as hell. Nothing changed from the offseason to the end of it that makes me say otherwise. The closest this team has a sniff in the playoffs was buying tickets to be in attendance. 10-7. Just wow. Might as well said 5 wins, and you still wouldn't have been even close. Final grade, hot as hell. Next up, we got a number from PT3118. In the offseason, he says Shedeur Sanders somehow manages to escape the Cleveland Browns. I believe I gave it mildly hot, and then when I did the mid-season check-in, I also gave it mildly hot again. Anyways, let's look at it for the third and final time. Sanders somehow escapes. Well, this one aged how I expected. He'd show a little of something, and then they say, here's another year. So from that, it looks like we get Sanders for a full season. I mean, it's either him or Dylan Gabriel, and that guy blows. So Sanders it is. Now, there's always a possibility they do draft somebody like Ty Simpson or someone I ain't even thinking of at the top of my head at the moment in the second or third round. Like, I don't know, maybe Garrett Nussmeier, Cade Klubnik, or even Drew Aller, you know, these type of guys. But there's always a possibility someone else comes in, performs better, steals his job, which then would put Sanders on the sideline once again. If that happens, then I say yes. I think at that point, he's going to try to get himself somewhere else. But to me, he just hasn't stood out enough yet for me to believe someone actually wants him with the thoughts of, that's our franchise guy. Because trust me, they would have done it by now. Again, he gets another year, so I'm not saying it's over for him to become anything big. I do think if he had a ceiling, he's a lot closer to it than he is his floor. Like, if anything, I do hope he succeeds. But for what I've seen, it's either he works out for Cleveland and becomes their starter for a good couple of years and earns that check, or backup it is. Hell, this is like the only team besides maybe the Jets where he gets an opportunity like this, because elsewhere, he's either riding the bench or he's just getting cut. So I think to play it safe, the best thing he should do right now is stay as close to this team as possible and do not fumble this opportunity. Does he escape? Possibly sometime in the future. I mean, most players who believe they're better than their team, that their team doesn't treat them right, normally do try to get themselves out of that situation. Now, if he wants to actually start in this league, you stay your ass put and you ball out. Simple as that. I'm going to change this grade from mildly hot to hot as hell. Sanders ain't going nowhere, and he's going to start next season for the Cleveland Browns. Next up in the offseason, we had Gavin567 saying, Caleb Williams becomes the first Bear to pass for 4,000 yards. Originally, I gave this one ice cold. When I did my mid-season check-in, I gave it ice cold. Like, he was this close, man, this close, just to making history, and it's such a damn shame. I really wanted him to do it. And around the week 8 mark, like I just mentioned, I was very sure of it. I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna get this. He's got a really good chance, which he did have a great chance, but ultimately just fell short. So unfortunately, I gotta change this grade from North Pole levels ice cold to hot as hell. You know, the opposite of the Iceman. It's hot as hell. Really good take though. I mean, it was this close to being absolutely spot on. I was just about ready to say ice cold. Great take, Gavin. But unfortunately, this one did not age well. But hey, there's always next year. Just trust the process. I'm sure he can do it. He looks a lot more confident this year compared to his first. But for this season and this season only, I gotta give it hot as hell. Next up, we had number 5 from SGA, the GOATs. Caleb Williams does not have a breakout year, and him and the Bears as a whole flop in the new system. See, at the start of the year, I questioned it. Midway, I was like, they look pretty damn good. Now looking at it, how do I put this one simply? Caleb Williams is an unreal quarterback, but a fuckload of talent, who proved his point on why he was a number 1 pick, and led his team to the divisional round with a loss in overtime, nearly beating the Rams. You read that back and you tell me if that sounds like flopping. I get what you might have been thinking in the offseason, but a year later, this take aged all sorts of horrible. Caleb Williams, in fact, did have a breakout year, and the Bears look like one of the best teams for years to come. I gave the Caleb pick originally ice cold just because I wasn't so sure on it, and the Bears flopping pretty green just because there was always a possibility at the start of the year, but I think they both end on the same note. Hot as hell. Offseason hot take number 6 we have from Joe Bro 1811. Bengals defense improves by a lot and they win the Super Bowl. They finished 6-11. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you from there. They finished 6-11 and in fact did not win the Super Bowl, let alone even make the playoffs. As for the defense part, it's the same shit as it always was. Burrow has to play out of his damn mind just to make everybody forget they fucking blow. So my grade stands as it was in the offseason. Week 8 and even now. Nothing changed. This defense is still struggling. They need a lot of pieces. They have more holes in it than a block of Swiss cheese. This team is cooked. Burrow needs to get up out of there. And yeah, that's about it. I don't have any other words to describe this take but hot as hell. Next up, we had it coming from Sawyer Lampkin's Football 9. Not a hot take, but kinda is. Joe Burrow leads the Bengals past the Ravens to win division and MVP. I'm a Seahawks fan. I'd say I hate to break the news to you, but thankfully, you're not a Bengals fan. And your team actually knows how to win. So good luck to your Seahawks in the Super Bowl. Now, as for the Bengals, I can say luck is what they needed, which they seem sure to be shit out of. They finished 6-11 behind the Ravens, in which the Ravens didn't even win the division themselves, thanks to a missed kick by Tyler Fruit Loops. So because of that, they lost, and somehow, and I mean some fucking how, Steelers won. So I think with a full year played by Burrow, the Bengals win. Possibly. I mean, the defense is atrocious, but when everyone else in your division sucks balls too, there's always a fighting chance. I mean, it literally came down to a kick that decided the winner. This shit was up for grabs all year long, and unfortunately, Steelers won it and proceed to shit bricks in the wild card. You know, as usual. So for that take, I gotta go hot as hell. And Burrow winning MVP. As I told you with the mid-season check-in, and I still say it now, this was never a possibility. The injury that took him out was the MVP killer right there. To win an MVP, you gotta be available all year long. Burrow was not, unfortunately. So because of that, I mean, it's obvious. This was not happening. I mean, the moment that happened, I knew nothing good was coming with this team. I gave this one mildly hot in the offseason just because I know fully healthy what him and his offense are capable of. Around week 8, like I just mentioned, I said hot as hell. And 1 year later with the season being over, my final grade stands at hot as hell. This take did not age like many hoped. But here's the next year. Hot as hell. Next up, we have a comment from Bradley YT. Drake Maye takes a jump and becomes the best second-year quarterback. In the offseason, I shrugged my shoulders and said it's a possibility. Mid-season, it looked pretty good. I gave this one ice cold. 2 months later, this wild son of a bitch is now in the Super Bowl and is either the MVP or the runner-up. This take aged perfectly. I mean, nothing else to debate. Daniels was hurt almost every time he came back. JJ McCarthy might be the worst quarterback I've seen in recent history. Michael Penis was okay, but nothing crazy. And Caleb's really about the only guy that gives him competition, which even then I'd still slide slightly more on Maye's side when it comes to consistency. So I'm getting this one ice cold. Number 9 coming in from Nacua. In the offseason, he originally said Broncos could be contenders to win the AFC West and make a playoff run, and the Panthers can win 10 to 11 games if Bryce Young plays good and the O-line doesn't suck. Well, instead of a hot take, we got two. Thank you, Bond. So here was take number 1. Broncos win the AFC West and make a playoff run. Now, tell me this. Does a bear shit in the woods? Because if your answer was yes, then that's exactly what happened here. Unfortunately, their run would be cut short 1 win away from the Super Bowl due to Bo Nix's ankle injury, so it didn't exactly end the way they wanted. I mean, I can't say Patriots win if Nix was healthy, but I can't say they win even with it's just a what if at the end of the day. But I mean, compared to last year, they made a lot stronger of a run. They knocked out the Bills, and they locked down the number 1 seed, by not only finishing with the best record on the AFC, but also winning the AFC West. Definitely one of the best seasons in a long time. And I have no doubt in my mind they're only going to continue to be a problem for the conference. I'm going to give this take ice cold. Now for take number 2, Panthers win 10-11 games. Around week 8, I gave this one mildly hot just because I didn't see how they would finish with more than 10, but I was like, you know what, there's hope. Well, they finished 8-9. Playoff appearance, yes, they did in fact make the playoffs, so season mission accomplished, but that was not your hot take. You said 10-11 games, which they fell short of by 2. So I gotta take this one down from mildly hot to hot as hell. Your other half of the question says Bryce plays well if the O-line holds up solid. That part of your take definitely holds up. I can't say he was perfect, but he played a lot better than the year before. I'll say that, with very impressive performances against the Falcons, Buccaneers, and Rams. So I'll round this one out and just say hot as hell with a hint of pretty green. Bryce did play good. I will give him that where his credit is due. And I say it's good enough to where I think he deserves another chance with his 5th-year option being picked up. I can't say the franchise god, but I think he's on the right path and does show he can in fact help this team win. So hot as hell with a side of pretty green. At number 10, we had Kimmy on a project. Jonathan Gannon cements himself as a top 10 head coach regardless of Kyler's play. In the offseason, I said this one was hot as hell. 1 year later, and the question now isn't can he cement himself as a top 10 head coach? The question is, can he even cement himself as a head coach completely? 2 years later, he's fired and right back to being somebody's defensive coordinator. I mean, hey, some people just do not have what it takes to be a head coach. We know he's a good coordinator, so might as well stick to what worked. Because that head coaching gig was not it. Best of luck in Green Bay, though. I guess I'll always remember him in Arizona for bitching out the running back for dropping the ball. What a legend. I'm giving this take what I gave it in the offseason and at the midpoint weight throughout the year. Hot as hell. The number 11 hot take I got in the offseason was Josh Allen isn't. Okay, I'm not even going to entertain this. 1 year later and you still disappoint me with this take. Number 12, JJ Netta said Rams win the NFC and Puka gets 1,500 yards. Once again, this was made in the offseason. So assuming you meant win the NFC, of course, by that I assume you mean win the NFC Championship. Close, but no. That would happen to be Seattle. Now, if you meant win the NFC by securing the 1 seed, you'd be wrong again. That would happen to be Seattle. No, wait a minute. If you even meant win their division, you'd be wrong again. The NFC West was won by the Seahawks, so that one gets hot as hell. Now, for Puka getting 1,500 yards as predicted by the start of the year, you'd be pretty damn spot on. Matter of fact, you would finish perfect. He'd finish a regular season with 1,700 yards and 10 touchdowns on 129 receptions. So that part is ice cold, very, very cold. Good take with that one. Whereas your first one, it just so happens if the Seahawks didn't exist, that would also be rowdy. But it seems like they not only caught the Rams off guard, but the entire fucking league. I mean, how'd you tell me they'd be Super Bowl favorites? I wouldn't know what to say at the start of the year. Crazy ass season, am I right? Giving this a split grade for the 2 takes with hot as hell for the NFC part and ice cold for Puka 1,500 yards. Number 13, Dylan Bears 8017 said, not for this season, but by the time Derrick Henry retires, he is the league's all-time leading rusher. I went over this one in the offseason, I went over it in the midway point, and now here we are at the end of the year. And he finished with 1,595 rushing yards, nearly edging 1,600. Which again, I also did the math, saying for him to be the all-time leading rusher, he'd have to rush for 1,200 yards a season minimum, with 1,900 being the max. So with nearly 1,600 rushing yards, he cracked 13,000, which I said, congratulations, Derrick Henry. I mean, I have no words to describe Derrick Henry. Best running back of our generation, and it isn't even close. So let's say if he ran for another 1,600 like he did this year, he'd have to play for 4 more seasons. It's a possibility. It sounds more realistic than it did at the start of the year. It's not completely impossible either, but I wouldn't exactly get my hopes up either. I mean, it'd be cool to see, but asking for 4 full seasons without an injury is a crazy ask. So we'll just have to see how he does, but cracking top 10 itself is just as crazy as an achievement. Also being 1 touchdown behind for being top 3 all-time rushing touchdown leaders. I'm gonna give this take hot as hell. He's still got a long way to go. But man, Derrick Henry does not age. Coming in at number 14, Chris Thompson said in the offseason, J.J. McCarthy will have more passing touchdowns than any other 2024 quarterback. Daniels, Nix, Williams, Maye, and Penix Jr. You know what? I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I fucking called it. I said around week 8, this handoff machine of a quarterback is going to finish with more picks than he would touchdowns. And would you look at that? 12 picks to 11 touchdowns. I knew it. I told y'all, I didn't like McCarthy in college. I didn't think he was worth the first round pick. And even then, should have not went over Bo Nix. 1 year later, and it's a fucking insult. He's not even the best quarterback on their depth chart. Wentz is. Carson Wentz. When you can't even outplay him given his age, you suck. And now rolling into season 3, let me remind you this. This is what other quarterbacks from that same class have done by year 2. Maye has made the Super Bowl. Williams made the divisional round. Daniels and Nix both took their teams to a conference championship. What has this son of a bitch done? Ride the bench better than the rest? Penix has a higher ceiling than his Jack Dorothy lookalike. McCarthy has had 1, maybe 2 impressive games. Tops. But defense bailed his ass out for most of it. Outside of that, he hasn't proved he's got what it takes to even get a 5th-year option at this rate. If he doesn't ball out in year 3, you know what I say? Cut him loose. Cut him loose, start looking at other options, bring in Mac Jones out of all people. This ain't no make-a-wish. If he cannot lead this team, you don't give him endless opportunities hoping this one is it. If he ain't good, the kid's not good. Bryce even had more flashes than him, but of course his situation was shit. What's JJ's excuse? The damn team had 14 wins last year. They have a roster that says win now. He has arguably the greatest receiver in the league on that roster, but he himself says, I'm holding this team back. It's a charity case the time they're giving him. I would have already traded his ass off seeing how Darnold looked. You know where he's at? He's in the Super Bowl. So now it's either McCarthy performs or he's done. That's final. I don't give a damn if he's hurt or not. I mean, if we want to play victim and say, well, he's hurt all the time, then just cut him loose anyways. If he gets injured again, there is no point holding on to the piece of hope the size of a shoestring with him. So I'm still going to give this take hot as hell. I held out some hope at the start. That little hope I had, it just said I'm not going to completely rant about him until I see him play. I've seen him play. He's not it. So unless he turns it all around year 3 and has a career season, which for him should not be hard, since his personal best at the moment is 1,600 passing yards, unless he can top all of this, I'd move a different way. At number 15, we have another comment from Purple Kool-Aid. He predicted in the offseason, Niners go 10-7 and make the playoffs. Doesn't sound like a hot take, but with their schedule, you would expect a better record. No, let me reword this one. For as banged up as this team was, you would definitely expect an even worse record. I mean, 10-7, if I told you the injuries they were going to face, you would not believe they even get that far. But thanks to the power of friendship and Christian McCaffrey, they didn't just go 10-7 or barely make the playoffs. They finished second in the NFC West, a wildcard victory over the defending Super Bowl champions, and they would finish 12-5. I mean, 40 injuries and just shit this team has suffered all season long. They had no business doing this well, but they went above and beyond expectations compared to last year. I gave this ice cold around week 8, but now that the season's over, it aged perfectly. Final grade, ice cold. Number 16, Williams Soul 9067 said, the Jets actually put everything together and finished with a winning record while the Dolphins tanked to the bottom of the AFC East. Again with the 2 takes in 1. Anyways, let's talk about take number 1. Actually, you know what? I don't want to talk about the Jets again. It just pisses me off even thinking of this team. But let me put on a nice face and answer this take honestly. Jets put everything together and finished with a winning record. Fuck no. There, that was my nice answer. You want the real deal? The Jets suck donkey dick. It ain't even funny how bad they actually are. It was funny for the first couple of weeks, and after that, it just became sad. I don't feel bad for the team. I feel bad for the actual fans that spent goddamn money on this organization. The fact that that's the product they give to them is just embarrassing. So as I gave you in the offseason, I gave you at the 8-week mid-season check-in, I'm still going to give you here. Hot as hell. Because they, in fact, did not finish with a winning record, or even a record that's at least suitable for most losing organizations. I mean, I've seen teams with a better preseason record than what the Jets finished with. They're horrible. That's all I need to leave it at. So final grade, hot as hell. And I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind if I see any off-season hot takes for the next year with this damn team. Now for take number 2, we have the Dolphins being the bottom bitches of the AFC East. Well, you could thank the bum-ass Jets for ruining this one. Even with how bad the Dolphins were, the Jets were far worse. I mean, at least the Dolphins look like they're trying to improve. They benched Tua, fired that coked up moron McDaniels, and know what they had to do to be better. So kudos to them for actually trying, whereas Jets on the other hand already forfeited for the 2026 season, finishing with a record of 3 wins max. And that's being generous. Giving this one pretty green. I can't say ice cold because they came in 3rd, not 4th. That goes to the Jets. So 3rd place gets the Dolphins pretty green. Next up at number 17, we have from Freaky Borger. In the offseason, he said Edgerrin Cooper ends the year being in Defensive Player of the Year conversation. You know, this one seemed good at the start of the year, and I even liked it midway around like week 8 or so. So I'm pretty sure I gave it ice cold as far as I can remember. 1 year later, now that we're at the end of the season, he's not in that conversation, unfortunately. Good talent, but he just cannot make the cut. Instead, it's between Will Anderson, Nick Bonito, Myles Garrett, who's the goddamn winner already. I mean, you don't break a record like that and not get the award. Aiden Hutchinson and Micah Parsons, which shocks me enough because he was injured for the most part. So safe to say, this one didn't age well. Sorry to say, but there is always next year. I gotta give this one a final grade of hot as hell. The number 18 comment I got in the offseason was from Philly Nation 76. He said Justin Fields will be a top 15 quarterback next season. Dude, Justin Fields will be lucky to even call himself a quarterback at all next season. Let alone fucking start top 15, my ass. I don't even think he's top 1,000. If he's somehow starting next year, for anybody, let alone the Jets, he must have some serious dirt in that organization. Because anybody with more than 2 brain cells will know this dude blows. Like, I do not believe he should see the daylight when it comes to being a starting quarterback. Backup at best, and even at then, that's being generous. He's the backup I see come in the game, and I'm like, oh shit, well, that's the game. God, I'd put more faith in Anthony Tap-Out Richardson than Justin Fields. And that's saying something. So my grade stays the same from the offseason to around week 8 to now. And as always, Fields sucks. He's not an NFL quarterback. Simple as that. Dude can't read a defense to save his life. He wasn't a top 15 quarterback this year. Definitely wasn't a top 15 quarterback at any time throughout his career. And will be lucky to even finish on somebody's bench. Hot as hell. Coming in at number 19, and funny enough, this was one I wanted to talk about. Jaguars win the division. I don't know how this dude called it, but he did. I mean, I just don't know. You know, like around week 8, Colts were at the top of just the NFL world. I mean, they were rocking the AFC. They were just rocking just about everybody. Best record. Number 1, it didn't even look like anyone from their division was going to catch up. Like, I said no way in hell, and I said the Colts already basically won, blah, blah, blah. And this blew the fuck up in my face. Call it a facial. Like, everything I said that needed to happen for the Jags to win, and that it wouldn't happen because, oh, it can't happen. The Colts look too damn good. It happened. Colts. Jones got hurt and they fell flat on concrete, eating shit on the way down, completely losing the division and botching the playoffs. Texans nearly had it, but they didn't. So, yeah, congrats, Jags. I mean, it didn't really mean anything because home advantage just to lose to the Bills. So, there's that. But, hey, it's a division win. This one definitely caught me off guard because I'm looking back and I'm like, holy shit. I really said this was impossible. And then, before you know it, the Jags are the winners. I really thought this was not going to happen, but goddamn was I wrong. My final grade for this changes from hot as hell to ice cold. Coming in at number 20, AP in the offseason said Aaron Rodgers has a bounce back season and Steelers go 10-7. Look, same thing I told this guy in the midseason that I told him in the offseason. Is the sky blue? Do Steelers go 10-7? I mean, come on now. Give me something, a little bit more interesting. I knew this was going to happen. You could tell me the Steelers quarterback was in a goddamn wheelchair. I'm still saying, all right, Steelers go 10-7. That's just the way it goes. But anyways, let's get to the hot take. Rodgers, bounce back season. Looking back at it now, 1 year later that the season's full and complete, I do not agree with the bounce back part. I mean, if anything, if we want to compare statistically to all the rest of his years, it's one of his worst. I mean, it's a good season for a lot of quarterbacks, but for Aaron Rodgers, who's been very consistent around the 3,500 to 4,000 yards a season number, Not to mention throwing for 4 touchdowns less than last season with the Jets, while also throwing for less picks too. So I wouldn't really call it a bounce back season, just more or less consistent. I mean, to bounce back, he's got to come back from something like, I don't know, 14 touchdowns, 11 picks, and like 3,100 yards. You got to have a bad season to really bounce back. He's just been consistent, solid, and is still a solid choice. Then you said Steelers go 10-7. Well, isn't that a damn guarantee? I mean, we know how it always goes. 10-7, make the playoffs, and get smoked in the first round. Story of Mike Tomlin's life. I just wonder how they're going to look next year when Mike make double McCarthy. Should be interesting, but I'm going to give this one ice cold. Coming in at number 21, we have SimuLord, which, by the way, I was waiting to get to this comment. Trust me. This one looks so crazy 1 year later, I'm not even kidding. Just look at this take. Detroit has a massive crash back to earth, going 10-7 and just missing the playoffs due to a stacked NFC North, taking 3 playoff spots. Yes, that means Chicago makes the playoffs. Tua Tagovailoa finally suffers a career-ending concussion in week 2. A bittersweet victory for a Patriots team that gets all the way to the conference title game after feasting on Miami, the Jets, and the always weak NFC South in the regular season. And finally, Washington defeats Denver in the Super Bowl. This is my spiciest take and the longest shot, but I'm not picking against a strong talent quarterback on a rookie contract. See also Bo Nix, Drake Maye matchup in the AFC title game referenced above. Now let's dissect this comment because wow. Detroit 10-7 just missing the playoffs because of a stacked NFC North taking 3 of the spots. I gave this one hot as hell start of the year. I gave it hot as hell around week 8 when I did my check-in. End of the season. This comment aged beautifully. I mean, I don't even think you could have predicted this one any better than you did with your take. 10-7. Not even. I mean, Detroit flopped right at 9-8. Missed the playoffs, and Chicago did in fact make it to the playoffs on a Cinderella story type of run. Absolutely spot the hell on. I'm giving this part of the comment a final grade of ice cold. The second comment. Tua suffers a career-ending concussion in week 2. And Patriots make it to the conference championship. I can't say Tua exactly suffered a career-ending concussion, but he is stupid, so I suppose you could count on that, and not to mention pretty much out of a starting job. So I guess you could say career ended indeed. And then we have the Patriots making it to the AFC championship game, dude. I fucking kid you not. This comment is all I could think of when seeing them in the Super Bowl. Like, it blows my mind. This was an off-season take for a team that had 4 wins. A team that had 4 wins. I gave no chance in hell. I didn't even see them making the AFC Championship. They made the goddamn Super Bowl. I don't think I've seen an off-season take age the way this one has. Wow, I mean, talk about bragging rights. I mean, I would be bragging my ass off had I called my shot for my team to make the bowl after a season where we just had 4 wins total. By any chance, do you know the lottery numbers too? Since you can clearly see the future, because I mean, just damn, dude, like, I tip my hat off to you, sir. That is one hell of a take, and it became a reality. I mean, going for something, I was like, yeah, right, too. The Patriots are fully back, and, well, they're dominating the AFC once again. I'm changing my grade from hot as hell to ice cold easily. And I say good luck to your Patriots. And then his third take, which is the one he called the spiciest. Washington defeats Denver in the Super Bowl. Well, Denver's not in the Super Bowl because the Patriots knocked him out, which, again, called this guy a goddamn fortune teller the way he said Bo Nix, Drake Maye in the AFC Championship. Like, I'm just saying, I kid you not, you would believe this comment was edited a year later. Nope, this was all one take. All back in August before preseason even started. Somehow, and I mean somehow, he not only predicted the Patriots being in the title game, but the matchup itself, that just makes it crazier. It's too bad you couldn't get the Washington part right, though. But I mean, you know, nobody expected Jaden Daniels to get injured like 5 times in one season. So I gotta give this part of the comment hot as hell, just because Denver ain't there and Washington fell apart at the mention of the word playoff itself. Word of advice, whatever this guy says is the championship matchup this upcoming offseason, believe it. I expect another big hot take for next year. I mean, really, just a really good take and couldn't have been more accurate. Ice cold. Next up at number 22, we have Beast Boy 9088. He said Tennessee Titans will win 10 games this year and win 2 playoff games. 1 year later, I still can't believe how stupid this sentence actually sounds. No offense to any Titans fans, but I'm pretty sure even the most loyal would have not predicted something like this. Like, you know, I'm going to spare myself the migraine and just give it hot as hell like it did the last 2 times. His second take. Cam Ward will throw under 10 interceptions. Well, color me shocked because he actually did it. I mean, at the midpoint check-in, I gave this one mildly hot. I even said hot as hell. I predicted Cam Ward finishing with about maybe, I don't know, 10 to 11 interceptions. He stayed under 10. Like, that's one I was shocked to see looking back at this comment, because at one point he was on like a 5-game streak throwing a pick in each one. Good for him and great take. This gets ice cold for the final grade. And then your third part of the comment was Travis Hunter will be one of the worst starting corners this season. On the offseason, I answered this as I don't know. 8 weeks in, I still don't know. And at the end of the year, he got hurt. So I think it's just really unfair to grade this one. So my point stands. I don't know. I'm going to give this one a to be determined. And that will do it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching another random recap. I'm sorry this is not probably the video a lot of people wanted. I know a lot of people are waiting on the wide receiver draft class. Trust me, I will get it done. I'm working very hard on it. It's just taking a while because there's a lot of interesting prospects, and I'm putting more time into it because I want it to be as perfect as possible. So I figured getting a video like this, something short, something sweet just for people to enjoy, is probably the best method to making sure I stay consistent. Because, you know, I don't want people thinking I disappeared off YouTube. But anyways, with all of that being said, I will see you on the next Random Recap.